Chocolate is one of those treats that many people love to enjoy, but it's not something that cats can eat. But what if your cat accidentally ate some? Is it safe? Can a cat live after eating chocolate? If so, how long will it take before they pass away from this food? Well, in today's episode, we're going to answer these questions and more. So make sure to watch till the end so you don't miss any important details. And don't forget to subscribe so you never miss out on future videos. Have you ever wondered why chocolate is toxic to cats? It's all because of something called theobromine. This chemical is found in chocolate and is similar to caffeine. Unlike humans, cats can't metabolize theobromine very quickly. This means that when a cat consumes chocolate, theobromine can build up in their system and cause some serious problems. When your cat eats chocolate, the theobromine is absorbed into their bloodstream and makes its way to the brain. Here, it stimulates the central nervous system and can cause symptoms like hyperactivity, restlessness, and even seizures. In addition, theobromine can also cause an increase in heart rate and blood pressure, which puts extra strain on your cat's heart. This is especially dangerous for cats with pre-existing heart conditions. But it's not just the central nervous system that theobromine can affect. When a cat eats chocolate, it can also lead to some gastrointestinal distress. Symptoms like vomiting and diarrhea are common in cats who have ingested chocolate. These symptoms can be mild to severe, and in extreme cases, the cat may even become dehydrated. In addition to the effects of theobromine, cats may also be sensitive to other ingredients in chocolate, such as sugar and fat. These ingredients can contribute to the overall toxicity of chocolate for cats and make it even more difficult for their bodies to digest. Overall, chocolate is a dangerous food for cats to consume and should be avoided at all costs. Now that we know why chocolate is bad for our feline friends, let's talk about whether they can eat different forms of chocolate. After all, not all chocolate is created equal. Dark chocolate is the most dangerous for cats due to its high concentration of theobromine. Just a small amount of dark chocolate can cause serious health problems for your cat. Milk chocolate and white chocolate are less concentrated but still pose a risk. What about cocoa powder? Since it doesn't have the same ingredients as real chocolate, it's not technically chocolate. However, it still contains theobromine and can be just as dangerous for cats. Baking chocolate has a higher concentration of theobromine than most other forms of chocolate, making it even more toxic for cats. And what about hot chocolate? The good news is that the heat doesn't seem to affect theobromine levels. So drinking hot chocolate won't necessarily be worse for your cat than drinking cold chocolate. That being said, the other ingredients in hot chocolate, like milk and sugar, can still cause problems for your cat. What about the forms of chocolate that don't contain any actual chocolate? For example, what about M&Ms or Snickers bars? Well, it turns out that these candies still pose a risk for cats. While they may not contain real chocolate, they often have other ingredients that are harmful to cats, such as xylitol. Xylitol is a sugar substitute that's often used in sugar-free candy. But for cats, xylitol can be extremely toxic. Even small amounts can cause a rapid release of insulin in cats, leading to hypoglycemia. Hypoglycemia can cause symptoms like weakness, tremors, and seizures. In addition, xylitol can also cause liver damage and death. So no matter what form it may be in, chocolate is not something that cats should consume. Now let's move on to another important question. How much chocolate is fatal to a cat? As we mentioned earlier, the toxicity of chocolate for cats depends on several factors, including the type of chocolate, the amount consumed, and the size of your cat. Generally speaking, it's best to err on the side of caution and assume that any amount of chocolate could be dangerous for your cat. But if you're curious about specific numbers, here's some general guidance. For dark chocolate, which has the highest concentration of theobromine, even a small amount of 1 ounce or about 28 grams can be enough to make a small cat sick. Larger amounts can be even more dangerous. Milk chocolate and white chocolate are less concentrated, so your cat would need to consume more of these types of chocolate to experience the same toxic effects. On average, it takes about 4 ounces or 113 grams of milk chocolate or white chocolate to make a small cat sick. Again, larger amounts can be more dangerous. As for baking chocolate, it's even more concentrated, so smaller amounts can be more toxic. It takes about half an ounce or 14 grams of baking chocolate to make a small cat sick. Finally, let's talk about some of the milder forms of chocolate, such as M&Ms and Snickers bars. Because these candies don't contain real chocolate, your cat would need to consume more of them to get sick. However, keep in mind that these candies often contain other harmful ingredients like xylitol, so it's still best to avoid giving them to your cat altogether. Now that we know how much chocolate is dangerous for cats, let's talk about what to do if your cat accidentally eats some. First and foremost, it's important to stay calm. We know it can be scary if your cat eats something they shouldn't, but panicking won't help anyone. The first thing you should do is try to figure out how much chocolate your cat ate and what kind. This information will be helpful for your vet when they are trying to determine the best course of treatment for your cat. Next, it's important to monitor your cat for any symptoms of chocolate poisoning. These symptoms can include vomiting, diarrhea, increased thirst or urination, restlessness or hyperactivity, elevated heart rate, tremors, or seizures. If you notice any of these symptoms, it's important to contact your vet right away. In some cases, your vet may recommend inducing vomiting in your cat to get rid of the chocolate before it has a chance to be absorbed into their bloodstream. However, this is only recommended for certain types of chocolate and only within an hour of ingestion. Your vet may also recommend activated charcoal, which can help absorb the remaining chocolate in your cat's stomach. If your cat is showing severe symptoms, your vet may need to perform emergency treatment, such as intravenous fluids to prevent dehydration or medications to control seizures. Ultimately, the treatment your cat receives will depend on the severity of their symptoms and the amount of chocolate they consumed. Finally, let's answer the question that's been on everyone's minds: does chocolate kill cats? The good news is that in most cases, chocolate poisoning is not fatal for cats. However, it's important to seek veterinary attention right away if you suspect your cat has eaten any amount of chocolate. With prompt treatment, most cats will make a full recovery. But if left untreated, chocolate poisoning can lead to serious complications like seizures, heart problems, and death. How long does it take for a cat to die after eating chocolate? We understand that this is a common question, but we cannot provide a definitive answer. Every cat is different, and there are too many variables to consider, such as the amount of chocolate consumed, the type of chocolate, the size of the cat, and the individual cat's metabolism. Therefore, it is impossible to predict how long it will take for a cat to die after eating chocolate. However, what we can say is that it is crucial to seek veterinary attention immediately if you suspect that your cat has eaten any amount of chocolate. Early treatment can help prevent the progression of symptoms and reduce the likelihood of serious complications or death. We know that chocolate is a beloved treat for many people, but it's important to remember that it can be deadly for our feline friends. By understanding the risks and taking precautions, we can ensure that our cats stay safe and happy. Thank you for watching today's episode. We hope that you learned something new and that you'll keep it in mind next time you're enjoying a piece of chocolate. Remember to keep chocolate out of reach of your curious cats and to seek veterinary attention immediately if they do happen to sneak a bite. Until next time, happy snacking and happy cat parenting.